In the silent stretch of a freezing December morning, before the world woke and before the city lights faded into the cold mist, Ethan Cole stood outside the old factory gates, staring at the snowflakes melting against his worn-out gloves. He looked like a man holding himself together by nothing but hope, thin, fragile, and almost breaking. The world saw him as an ordinary worker, a man who punched in before dawn and punched out long after sunset. But if someone looked closely, they would see the exhaustion in his eyes, the unspoken storms behind his smile, and the weight he carried alone. He wasn't afraid of hard work. What terrified him was failing the tiny 7-year-old girl who was still asleep at home, wrapped in a faded blanket and dreaming of a Christmas he wasn't sure he could give her. Before the story continues, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and miracles that appear in unexpected moments, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and tell us in the comments where you're watching from. Because today, Ethan's life was about to change forever. Inside the towering glass office building that overlooked the factory, Ariana Blake, the new CEO of Blake Industries, watched from the window. She saw Ethan every morning, always early, always alone, always looking like he carried a world only he understood. Ariana wasn't cold, despite what the employees whispered. She was simply a woman who had lost too much too early. A father who built an empire but didn't live long enough to see her lead it. A marriage that ended not in anger but in silence, and a life that looked successful from the outside but felt painfully empty on the inside. Every December was hardest for her. Christmas lights reminded her of the home she once dreamed of, the laughter she never got, and the love that slipped away like snowflakes disappearing on warm skin. But this year, something, or someone, kept drawing her attention. Ethan. There was something hauntingly honest about him. Something quiet, something hurting, something she somehow understood. She didn't know yet, but their worlds were already on a collision course. That afternoon, during the company's annual Christmas review, Ariana requested a private meeting with each department. Most employees walked in nervous and walked out relieved. But when Ethan entered her office, carrying his cap in one hand and his dignity in the other, Ariana felt an unexpected pull, like his presence softened the room in a way she hadn't felt in years. He looked surprised that she even knew his name. As she asked him general questions about the department, she noticed something. Every answer he gave was thoughtful, humble, and brutally honest. When she asked about workplace improvements, he didn't complain for himself. He talked about others. He talked about safety, fairness, overtime wages. But when she gently asked if he was doing all right, he hesitated. His eyes flickered, his voice cracked, and Ariana felt something twist inside her. She dismissed the others early, but when Ethan stood up to leave, she stopped him. She asked him a question no one expected, one that wasn't on any company form. She asked, softly, carefully, almost too quietly, "Ethan, what's your Christmas wish this year?" He froze. A question so simple shouldn't have hurt that much. But it did, because for people who have too little, even wishing is painful. He lowered his head, took a shaky breath, and whispered the sentence that shattered her heart. "I just want my daughter to stop asking why Santa doesn't come to poor kids." The room fell into a silence so raw, so human, that it felt like time itself paused. Ariana didn't speak for several seconds, not because she didn't know what to say, but because she couldn't. His words hit a part of her she thought was gone forever, the part that remembered childhood dreams, the part that remembered crying on Christmas nights after her parents' fights, the part that understood what loneliness tasted like. In that single moment, the wealthy CEO and the struggling worker became two broken souls sharing one truth. Life had been unkind to both of them in different ways. Over the next week, Ariana found herself unable to forget Ethan's face, the way he said, "My daughter," the fear beneath his strength. She looked through the employee records and learned the rest. His wife had passed away 4 years ago in an accident. He had no family left. He worked double shifts. He was behind on rent. He had no one in the world except his little girl, Lily. That knowledge didn't leave her. It stayed. It hurt. It made her rethink everything she believed about her employees, about charity, about being a leader, about being human. One snowy evening, 2 days before Christmas, Ariana made a decision, one that would change both their lives forever. She drove to the small, beaten-down neighborhood where Ethan lived. She saw the peeling paint on the cracked door, the broken porch light, the small window glowing with a dim yellow lamp. She hesitated before knocking. For the first time in years, she felt nervous, like she was about to step into someone's real life, not a corporate room. When Ethan opened the door, his eyes widened. Ariana Blake, in his doorway. Snow on her coat, concern on her face, not as a boss, not as a CEO, as a human being. Inside the small apartment, she noticed everything, the tiny decorations Lily had made from paper, the cheap heater struggling against the cold, the couch that looked older than Ethan, and the small pair of shoes by the door. Lily peeked from behind a curtain, shy but curious. Ariana's heart warmed instantly. Over the next hour, she talked with Ethan, listened to Lily's stories, saw the truth of their lives, felt the weight he carried quietly. And by the time she left, she knew one thing clearly. She couldn't walk away. Christmas Eve arrived. Just when Ethan thought the day would be ordinary, Ariana returned, but this time, not alone. She brought gifts, food, a proper Christmas tree, warm clothes, and something else, a look in her eyes that said, "You matter. Your daughter matters. You are not invisible." For the first time in years, Ethan didn't feel like a man failing his child. He felt like a father again. As they decorated the tree together, Ariana felt something soften within her, a feeling she had long buried. Watching Lily laugh, watching Ethan smile for the first time in weeks, watching warmth fill a home that had seen too much cold, she felt her own broken pieces shifting back into place. Sometimes healing comes from the most unexpected people. Sometimes love begins quietly. Sometimes Christmas miracles aren't magic, they're human. By the end of the night, when Lily fell asleep on the couch and the lights twinkled softly, Ethan whispered something he had never said to anyone at work. "Thank you for giving her a Christmas she'll never forget." Ariana didn't respond right away. She looked at him, really looked, and saw a man who didn't ask for anything. A man who battled silently, a man who deserved the very happiness he kept trying to give his daughter. Her voice was quiet when she finally spoke. "You gave me something too. You reminded me what Christmas really means." There, in that tiny living room, something fragile and beautiful formed between them. Not romance, not yet, understanding, connection. Two lonely hearts learning that home isn't a place. It's a feeling, and sometimes, it's a person. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Your support helps us bring more stories like this to life. Before the video ends, tell us in the comments, do you believe kindness can change a person's entire life?